church going and riding, be it by yourself or with your homies. Our steeples and choirs are mountains and wooded trails. And I have to drive an hour right now. And as soon as you get off the highway and you drive through the little town, all the buildings are brick, and that kind of puts you back home. And then it's 40 minutes of just country roads. It kind of lets everything leave. And then next thing you know, you're coming over the mountain and it says, "Welcome to Pisgah National Forest." Pull into a gravel road, drive down it for 10 minutes, and then at that point, pretty much nothing else matters but getting on your bike and going for a long pedal.
Hello, podcast land.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, we're off to a good start tonight. Hello, everyone. My name is your Kiwi man, Adam. And this wonderful gentleman sitting across from me is...
Hey, everybody. My name is Banana Hammock Dan.
Aw, that's
a
very graphic image.
And this is the podcast, Passion Fruits, a passion project for passionate people.
It is indeed. And this is our second episode, isn't it?
Woo! Party time.
So naturally seen as it's our
This
second
is the
episode.
paper anniversary.
Settle in, people. You're in for
a wild ride.
A wild ride of pain and laughter.
Why
tears.
is it a wild ride, Adam?
Well, it's funny you asked that because we're going to talk about mountain biking.
Oh, totally rad, bruh.
Sweet.
It's time to get sick gnar up my butt
and shred
whip out my erect penis and slap it on my bike.
Wow.
That's what mountain biking is. All right, boy. Thanks everybody for listening.
This is why we love mountain biking.
You learned everything you need to know.
Oh boy.
You're ready for it. You know you love it.
So ready for it. So for background information, if this is your first Passion Fruits episode that you're listening to,
welcome.
Yes. Welcome. Come right in.
Welcome to Passion Fruits. To the left is menswear. To the right is books.
Wow.
And lamps.
You went from describing a department store to just describing whatever's in this room.
It's a Borders. We recorded a derelict, abandoned Borders. Okay. What do we do on this podcast, Adam?
We address all the greatest issues of mankind.
Why is Borders gone?
Oh, man. Oh, that's going to be a great episode when we talk about the demise of the big box bookstore.
That was good alliteration.
At the hands of the evil Amazon.
Sounds like a comic book or something. Very exciting.
No, on this podcast, as Daniel said, this is a passion project for passionate people.
Yep.
So we are going to explore multiple topics throughout the episodes about what makes people passionate about something. Mm-hmm. So last week we did Metallica, which we came back to rave reviews about the episode.
Thanks everybody for liking and subscribing.
Oh boy,
we love you all.
Ebert and Roper at dinner the other night, they were just like, "You all are amazing."
2 thumbs way up.
Way up
into the stratosphere. But yeah, we're here to talk about what we're passionate about, what you're passionate about, what gets our gonads going, and what we love about stuff. So, did we already say what we're talking about today? Because I think we did.
Barely, but you drowned it out with your crude mentions earlier on in the podcast.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So this week we're talking about mountain biking.
Oh, sick mountain biking, bro. Just gonna whip out my dick and slam it on my back. Yeah.
And we've come back
So,
around.
what do we do on this podcast?
It's like Groundhog Day podcast style.
I've only seen that movie once. Or have I?
What? The truth is out there.
Reading
X-Files
Rainbow.
Woo! So,
All right.
So, like, as we did.
What are we talking about today, Adam?
Oh, man.
Adam just took off his vest because my talk about my erect penis was getting him too hot and bothered. So, all right, let's get into it. Mountain biking.
Mountain biking.
Yes.
So, obviously, it's biking in the mountains.
What is mountain biking?
Right? Just, So, we have established a cadence for our podcast.
Clearly.
So this is our first segment.
That is so obvious that we have a brilliant, smooth rapport that cannot be topped. Keep going.
So, first, we're going to introduce everyone to the world of mountain biking, aka this is when I steal a bunch of information from Wikipedia, or it's our passion fruitpedia. Passion fruitpedia.
Oh,
I didn't get our intro song earlier in the episode. Have to do it now.
yep. So, Joseph, that's a good edit point. Cut that, and then keep going.
So, a little bit of background. So, Daniel and I both love mountain biking.
Yes, we do.
Arguably have too many mountain bikes.
One for both of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shh. No, both of us have been avid mountain bikers for a while now. We've spent too much of our money on mountain bikes and other mountain biking related paraphernalia.
Yep.
So let's dive into it. So what is mountain biking?
Okay.
Well, I'm proud to say that mountain biking got its start here in the United States.
I thought you were going to say, like, here in North Carolina.
No.
Nope.
USA.
Oh, brother. Such a xenophobe.
God bless America.
I forgot you were a right-wing conservative.
Hey, you don't have to be right-wing conservative to be patriotic.
Nope. No, it's in the Constitution.
Oh, wow.
You haven't read it.
Daniel is an accomplished constitutional law expert.
Yes.
Anyways.
Call me George Washington Jubin, crossing the Delaware. So, mountain biking got its start in the United States.
Yes.
Any specific state?
It's debatable, but
okay.
Typically the states
Let's debate it. I think it got started here in North Carolina.
I think you're wrong.
Shit. You win.
Generally, it's commonly associated with California.
Oh, sick waves, bro.
Yes, actually, there's a bunch of surfer and skateboarding dudes that were like, let's shred down some sweet trails.
Get on your boogie board and ride your bike.
Yeah. Basically, in the 70s, a bunch of hippies out in San Francisco were like, you know what would be really cool? Let's tear down the side of a mountain.
Sweet.
On these really rickety bikes.
Right. Yeah, they used like beach cruisers.
Yeah.
They call them clunkers.
They did. And but now everyone's obsessed with clunking.
They used to be. I think that obsession is gone now.
I think that obsession lasted like maybe 3 months.
Transition Bike Company had a clunker, and I really wanted to get it.
I know. We talked about it forever. Hey, Adam, should I get this clunker? I think I really want to buy a clunker. I think that'd be so cool. We're getting ahead of ourselves, everyone.
No.
But basically, so the idea behind mountain biking is you are off-road cycling, either on dirt or single-track trail. Like I said, generally it was formed, like the first real like official mountain biking was back in like the late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
The first mass-produced mountain bicycles, not just bicycles in general, but the first mass-produced mountain bicycles were produced in the early 80s, and that era is associated with a bunch of famous people like Joe Breezer and Gary Fisher and Tom Ritchie. But ultimately, it's well known that the company Specialized brought mountain biking to the mainstream, if you will.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did they do that, Adam?
Well, they built a bicycle called the Stump Jumper.
Ooh, a Stumpy.
Yeah, the Stumpy. But
you can tell I'm a mountain biker because I know the lingo.
Yes, and we'll say this many times, as we said in the last episode. We're not experts on this. But
well, then the names that you said just 2 minutes ago, Gary Fisher, Ritchie, and Breezer, of course, all started their own mountain bike companies, and they're Gary Fisher not around so much today, or is he? Is it?
No, it was purchased by Trek back in the early 2000s.
Right. So, but yeah, Ritchie and Breezer, Breezer maybe not so much anymore because of Fuji, but we'll get into that. Keep going. No, sorry. So Specialized, Stumpy, Stump Jumper, Jumping Stumps.
A lot of that evolved throughout the 80s and the early 90s. So basically, people figuring out that this is awesome. And it went from this kind of counterculture.
Hell yeah.
Kind of, badass, revolutionary type sport to something that, like, dentists did.
Right.
Yeah.
The only people who can afford nice mountain bikes, except for Adam.
But yeah, so that, and mountain biking has evolved, and there are, tons of different disciplines now, so that, people do standard trail riding, a number of people race.
Right.
So there's everything from, focused downhill racing, where basically you drop someone off the side of a mountain and they race to the bottom as quickly as possible.
Right.
And it looks nearly impossible.
But is it?
Maybe. It's impossible for me.
Okay. Probably for me too.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, man.
I mean, just kidding.
Come on. I only do this podcast so that you compliment me and build me up. And here we are. Not building me up.
Well.
Bye, everybody. Cool. Well,
so lots of different disciplines. Mountain biking has expanded all over the world.
Well, and it evolves even like leaps and bounds in the last 5 years with the introduction of 12 gears, soon to be 13, I'm sure, and everything. And just the evolution of mountain biking, of being able to get what was once deemed expensive parts are now on the trickle down of mountain biking is getting on those inexpensive entry-level mountain bikes. So somebody doesn't have to start on a clunker first to afford a mountain bike.
Yes.
They can get a decent mountain bike for not a lot of money, which is awesome.
And
anyway,
ultimately, it's like a form of recreation. It's becoming more popular. So the sport in itself is becoming more accessible to a lot more people. Not just from an equipment standpoint, but from opportunity to ride. Even where we are here in North Carolina, we're very fortunate to have 10 to 15 pretty solid trail systems within a half an hour drive at most of where we live, which is phenomenal. No longer are mountain bike trails considered illegal or bandit trails. They're sanctioned. There are a bunch of there's a big movement to get mountain biking into middle and high schools as like varsity sports, which is super awesome.
Yeah,
and so it's exciting to see the movement going from where it was back in the just before we were born, basically, to for it to become once again mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I can't believe we're mainstream.
Now there are way too many people slapping their erect penises on their mountain bikes.
All
on
the penises.
All the penises, all the time. That's what you get here at Passion Fruits Podcast.
Women don't like to ride mountain bikes.
Oh, what? We can get into that.
Fuck the patriarchy. Am I right? Yeah. So, obviously, this podcast is about how people become, casual devotees of an activity or something to being passionate about it. So, we'd really like to get into story time.
Story time.
Story
time for a story. So gonna talk about stories.
Just talk about stories, not going to tell a story.
I really like Goodnight Moon.
Oh, I like Go the Fuck to Sleep.
Whoa.
Yeah. Have you heard that book?
I have.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Do you read it every night?
Yeah.
And then as you read the last word, you just knocks you out. All right, Adam, story time.
Sure. So story time. So how did I get into mountain biking?
How did you get into mountain biking?
Why are we talking?
Why are we talking about this bullshit today?
Do I have an echo in my headphones?
Do you have an echo in your butt?
Oh. Wow.
Keep going.
So I started mountain biking a long time ago in the galaxy far away.
Mountain biking with Adam. He is so cool. Go ahead. I imagine you sang that as you were mountain biking so very long ago.
Sang? Still sing.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. So my father's always been a huge cyclist, and to a certain extent, he's dabbled in mountain biking.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't say he's a mountain biker, but when we were younger, that's what we did. We go on bike rides.
Cool.
So I always like to ride off road. I always like to try and set up shady little jumps and stuff.
Nice.
I'd say the first real mountain biking experience I got was in middle school, and a good friend of mine, his mother drove us up to the top of Reddish Knob out near Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Cool.
And dropped us off at the top, and we rode a trail from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Nice.
Now, I've ridden that trail now, and I am amazed I am still alive.
Really?
Yeah, that trail is tough as shit.
What kind of bike were you on?
I was on a 24-inch Raleigh M20. Rim brakes, hard, it was a steel hardtail.
Did it even have shocks in the front?
It had
a suspension fork?
Technically, yes. Yeah.
It was 2 millimeters of travel.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't a bad bike. I was very grateful for that.
But here you are, and it got you started.
Yeah, here I am. So that was kind of my first taste of it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. But, as any high school boy, I got my driver's license, stopped riding bikes so much, and then I got to college where I met this lovely human being across from me. It's not Daniel, by the way.
Get out of here. Everybody's just coming into our recording studio.
But we're actually recording in a public library. Sorry. Shh, we have to whisper now.
So I just like to get out my erect penis.
This is a terrible trend throughout this episode. Terrible. But the big push came when I got to college. So I brought my mountain bike to college, which at that point in time was just my bicycle because I didn't have any other bicycles. And I went around the activities fair when I was a wee little freshman.
Oh, governor.
Oh, indeed. At the College of William and Mary.
Adam's entire freshman year was him spent in prison of using an English accent because he used it at the activity fair in the first week of college, and everybody was like, wow, a cool British guy.
Yeah,
and then he could never stop.
Oh, it was terrible.
Everybody really bought it, as you could tell.
Yeah, and all the girls loved it.
Oh my God. They were like, hey, Michael. Lord.
If only that was true.
It's just like the movie Love Actually. If I can't say it now at Christmas, David, when can I say it? I'm yours. And by David, I mean Adam, because it was all the ladies.
Yes.
So the activity fair.
On
topic.
Thank you for getting this back on track. So I went to the activity fair and I saw the captain from our cross-country track team from my high school sitting at the cycling table, which I was like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Because I had no idea he was at William & Mary.
Huh.
And he was like, Adam? And I was like, Mark? He's like, what are you doing here? I go here now. And then his next question is, oh, awesome. Did you bring your mountain bike?
Nice.
And I go, I brought my bike.
What is a mountain bike?
He goes, sweet. You want to go race next weekend?
Oh, nice.
And I was like, sure.
What is a race?
Yeah. So literally I was like, okay, crap. For better or for worse, my father had educated me on most things bicycle related. So I was like, well, I need like the clip-in, funny looking clip-in shoes.
Right.
I need some actual riding shorts and a New Jersey. So I went out and spent way too much money on all this stuff. And then a week later, I was loaded into a sketchy William & Mary activities van, and we drove 7 hours out to West Virginia and stayed for the weekend. So, Daniel, guess what my first mountain bike race was ever?
Reddish Knob?
No, sadly.
Oh,
that
you
might have been better.
West Virginia. My bad. Snowshoe?
No, close. Anyways.
I'm going to keep guessing. The Badlands?
Oh, yes, we're.
You drove 7 hours into West Virginia.
Mark floored it the whole way out to West Virginia.
He's amazing.
So basically, on the way out, like, halfway to wherever we're going, I was like, so what kind of mountain bike race is this? Oh, and everyone in the van's like, oh, it's a 6-hour endurance race.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, a 6-hour endurance race is
riding for 6 hours on your mountain bike.
Whoa.
Now, put
So
this in
technical.
perspective. I don't think I'd ever been on my bike for more than an hour at a time. So I was like, oh, all right.
You thought that your bike would buck you off at a
Probably.
certain amount of time?
Like, this is
Get
not,
off me.
not physically possible.
You thought it was a horse?
So and my teammates who were, I guess, slightly masochistic, they were like, oh, but don't worry, we'll pair up and do this as like a dual thing. So you ride one lap and the other person rides one lap.
How nice of them!
It's like, oh, sweet, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
We get to our little cabin in the woods that night.
Creepy.
Wake up the next morning, we go to registration and we go to start the race. And I'm like, oh, cool. So who's going to be my partner? And they're like, I think we're all going to do it solo.
Oh man, betrayal! Gosh.
So literally, I'm like standing there with like a number pinned to my jersey, riding a bicycle. I will. After this point, I rode a bicycle for longer than I ever had, like, combined in my life. But I made it 4 hours and 45 minutes into the race.
Damn, dude.
It was pouring down rain the whole time.
Fun.
It was wet, slippery, rooty West Virginia mud and rocks.
Wow.
And yeah, like I stopped because I literally cramped up so hard that I fell off my bicycle.
Ooh.
And I walked back to the van and sat in the van. I was like, I can't go any longer. And they were like, it's okay. So I had muffins and bananas.
Perfect.
But long story short, for whatever reason, I thought that was a lot of fun. And maybe it was because the cool, like, juniors and seniors in college were also saying, like, that was awesome, here's a free beer. And I was like,
oh my God.
I mean, never
This has
mind.
been a giant sting operation. I got you. Underage drinking, you're going to jail.
Oh, man.
You got your PBR after the race and you had your muffin and your banana. You're having a good time.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But for whatever reason, I loved it. And maybe it was for that want of acceptance, but I had a lot of fun. And, it was this like weird adrenaline rush when I was younger. And honestly, like, I felt terrible after that race, but I didn't feel as bad as I thought. Like I felt like I could get better at it.
Nice.
And so basically I fell in love with the sport. That's spring, like basically that fall semester, I schemed on how to get a new mountain bike.
Nice.
I came back for spring semester freshman year, went and got myself a job at a bike shop, and the rest is history.
That's how you do it.
And now I own way too many bikes. I've spent 10 plus years in the bicycle industry, and now I don't. But
smart.
Yeah, now we're here.
Nice.
Yeah, good times.
Very good.
So, yeah, there's my riveting story about getting into mountain biking.
I was riveted.
So what I'm telling everyone in the audience is to get into mountain biking, you have to go do a 6-hour endurance race.
And then you have to spend 10 years in the bike industry.
Yes, there's no other way.
Then Adam will talk to you about mountain biking. I'm actually surprised we're in the same room right now.
I am too.
Cool. What was your mountain bike at freshman year of college for that 6-hour race?
So it was a aluminum Trek 4500.
Ooh,
it had
nice.
rim brakes and old Jones tires and a Bontrager stem and a Shimano Alivio drivetrain.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It was awesome. But you know what? That bike was my campus bike for the following 3 years.
Yeah, I remember that bike.
But you know what? It got me through. It was funny. I actually, when I decided to sign up for that race with the team, I went the day before to the bike shop in town. Was like, hey, can you all tune up my bicycle for me? I've got a race tomorrow. And they were like, you have a race. You have to leave tomorrow. And you're bringing it to us now.
Oh man, you were that
guy.
Customer.
Oh,
I'm still that guy sometimes.
Funny enough, I went to work at that bike shop. I was like, hey, you guys are really nice. Can I work?
Remember me? Yeah. Oh no, it's that pain in the ass. Say we're closed. We're closed.
But yeah, so
nice.
That's how it happened. And now, I said, and we'll get into this later, but you know, I'm incredibly grateful for that, and that experience allowed me to meet amazing people, allowed me to travel all over the place, and quite frankly, it gave me a sport that I really fell in love with. And I think part of this is in the past, I'd never really found a sport that I like literally, you know, almost literally fell in love with, because I was never super coordinated. Like I was a very mediocre soccer player. I was a terrible baseball player. I was a terrible basketball player. I couldn't even run that well. And so like mountain biking was the first thing when I really got into it. I was like, oh, I'm not half bad at this. Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm still mediocre at it,
and
but I enjoy myself.
Oh, I mean, you're a mediocre pro.
Plot twist: I still suck.
Oh man. Cool. Very cool.
So, enough about me. How about yourself, Dan?
Finally, thought you'd never ask. Well, sit down. Let me tell you a story about little Daniel and biking.
This is how it happened with the Metallica thing. Let me tell you a story about little Daniel and Metallica.
We're in this story time segment.
Sorry, yes. I'm curled up with clutching a pillow.
I'm going to get you some hot cocoa.
Yes.
And we're in the season now, so some
the
eggnog.
Hot cocoa section.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, this is the hot cocoa segment.
Yeah.
Snuggle up with your boner lover. What? I don't know. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I got into mountain biking very differently than you, Adam. I'm kind of the same way. Before getting into mountain biking, a mountain bike was a bike to me. Right. Like I had Trek 800 for most of my middle school and high school years.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I judged you hard.
What? No, you didn't see that Trek 800. You saw like the Trek 5600 or something. The Trek 800 was like a red and orange fade. It was badass. But in like 2000, our family moved to a new neighborhood where there was a cul-de-sac. And me, my younger brother, and a bunch of the other neighborhood kids would get on our bikes and we would play capture the flag, like from one end of the street to the cul-de-sac where our house was, and we would hide like Nerf basketballs somewhere, and we would ride our bikes as like capture the flag games. And we'd ride through
the good old days.
The good old days. I'm just like choking up thinking about it now.
Your mother's like Mrs. Cleaver.
Yeah.
Come to dinner, boys.
Yeah. You hear the dinner bell. Yeah. The cows just rush past us. No, we were
in suburban Alexandria.
Hey, the development we were in used to be a farm.
Ah, yes. Back in the 1700s.
Yeah. Pretty much. So yeah, we rode a ton, and then kind of like when I got too busy with high school and homework and all that stuff, bike riding kind of fell by the wayside until I came to college and met you. And biking, I had a Trek like 5600 or whatever, blue and black rim brakes, 26-inch wheels.
I remember, and it had a RockShox Judy fork on it.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That was impressive.
Well, so I used that as my commuter bike.
I know. I was really disappointed in
and
you.
Then, oh, God, I'm so sorry. Because then I left it out one Christmas break, and it got stolen. Adam is giving me a very disdainful look. But that was the catalyst to me getting some help to buy a new mountain bike. And I think I had done like, you would either talk to me about mountain biking, or I had gone on maybe like one mountain bike ride with you. It was like, what entry level mountain bike should I get to start actually trying out mountain biking? And so you recommended to me the Specialized Rockhopper.
Yep.
Which served as my mountain bike from senior year of college to second year of law school, up until like third year of law school. Anyway, that's really not important and pretty boring.
No. Continue, yeah. Daniel. What classes were you taking that semester in law school?
I probably just finished up maybe intellectual property.
Oh, man. That's fascinating.
Very fascinating. But no, so you like got me into mountain biking. Like you took me out with some other dudes to some of the trails out in Williamsburg. And I would, during that summer, in between senior year of college and first year of law school, I was just working at a moving company. Yeah. So I was just not giving a fuck and was able to mountain bike a lot. And then in law school, I pretty much rode by myself every single Friday. Like, if I didn't get out Friday morning to ride, like, it was a bad weekend. And so I was just riding. It was just, well, shit, let me go back a little bit. Because I do remember you talking about your mountain biking experience reminded me that I did the mountain biking maybe merit badge or maybe introduction to mountain biking for Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
And
aren't you an Eagle Scout?
I am an Eagle Scout.
All the hell, the Eagle Scouts.
Salute me at all times.
Caw. Is that, do you have to do that every time you enter a room? You're
yeah.
Like,
and
Daniel Juman, Eagle Scout.
I actually go, Birdman. So I kind of got like some mountain biking techniques from that, but really you taking me out to trails in Williamsburg got me motivated to want to get better at mountain biking. And all throughout law school, I would just ride my bike by myself, just even not riding that many trails. Like, I was just in Greensboro, and, you know, I would ride maybe like one trail all the time for like months and months and just like use that to get better. And that was really how I got into mountain biking, was just wanting to get away from law school, get away from people at law school, and just get out into nature. That was how I got into mountain biking.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's something that you and I both share, is like, well, I really picked up mountain biking in college. You picked up mountain biking in law school. But I'd say for both of us, it was an escape for us. Like, you know, don't have to deal with all the bullshit at school, you know, at least for this hour or 2 hours, you know, we're thinking about not crashing into a tree instead of, you know, taking the test that we should have been studying for kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was, at least for me, and having spoken to you during that time. Like, it was cathartic for us.
Oh, yeah,
it was like,
totally.
Being able to be a little bit zen, as the original mountain bikers always imagined it. Just,
Yep.
Dude, just, slaying some trail.
Get out your erect penis.
It's the theme of the episode.
Yeah, obviously. That's what mountain bikers say. So we've kind of talked about how we both got into mountain biking. How did you realize that you were, or I don't know how to word this.
Daniel's using his hands now.
It's very effective.
We need closed captioning for,
do.
For our podcast.
Or like
Daniel gestures with hands.
No, yeah, it's the shit. Oh, what is that?
Subtitles?
Not subtitles. It's like says out loud what people are doing. It's like for the hard of, or like visually impaired captioning, but it's like you watch a TV show where it's like Katie and I were watching an episode of Modern Family and it had the visually impaired subtitles and it was like...
Is that closed captioning?
Closed captioning is the words.
Oh.
Visually impaired, they say like exterior, Cam's house. And then it's like interview, and it's like an interview on Modern Family. It's really funny.
So everyone prepared for each Passion Fruits podcast episode. We'll have a episode version 1.1, which is just going to have us describing what we're talking about.
Adam is gesturing. Now he's scratched his nose. He's scratching it. Something's wrong with him.
That you can get on the exclusive bonus DVD that's coming out in 2023.
Thanks to all our Patreon members. I still don't know what Patreon is. Anyway, do you mind if I steer the ship a little bit?
Absolutely. Go
cool.
for it.
When those are seagulls, obviously. So when did it hit you that you were a fanatic, a mountain biking fanatic?
I think it hit me, somewhere within, I'd probably say the summer between freshman and sophomore year. So, of undergrad.
Right.
So that summer I stayed in Williamsburg, Virginia, which for all those out there, never stay a summer in Williamsburg.
There's a lot of nightlife.
Well, it's also the worst weather on the face of the planet.
Oh, yeah. You're in a fucking swamp.
Yeah. But I stayed there to work. I worked from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. at Barnes & Noble, and then from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. I worked at the bike shop.
Damn. Hustling.
Well,
making that paper.
That summer I bought a $4,000 mountain bike.
Hell
so
yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's totally worth it.
At the very last day of your job at Barnes & Noble, you were like, bye-bye, paycheck.
Pretty much.
Let's get back to my important job at the bike shop where I'm going to pay myself by getting a mountain bike for myself.
But I think it was definitely at that point where kind of like you, Daniel, where I started to like, that's all I would look at on the internet.
Yeah,
it's just
I remember.
I'd read about bicycles, I'd listen about bicycles, and it was that innate curiosity that really hit me of, oh, well, I don't know about this, so maybe I should learn about it. And I dive down the rabbit hole of however many Wikipedia articles and Vital mountain bike articles and pink bike articles, just figuring out like what all this stuff meant. So I was fascinated by the history. I really wished I could have the look. So like that super cool, like pseudo skater boy mountain biker. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, listeners, if only you could see me right now.
You do, don't worry.
Flat brimmed hats and everything. But that's when it definitely hit me. When I was like, I love this stuff. I don't just love the sport, but I love the culture surrounding it. I love the gear. You know, for better or for worse, I've always been a collector of things. And thank you, Father, for giving me an incredibly expensive taste on a middle class budget. Hooray!
You're forever in his debt.
Literally and figuratively.
He was a good father, and he taught you a lot on how to spend money.
My dad was an enabler. He basically, like, literally, he would like, if you really want that bike, I'll loan you the money. We'll set up a low interest payment plan. to pay me
Your mom would show up like 6 months later if you hadn't made a payment with like a hammer in her hand. Like, Hannah, I heard you haven't paid your dad in a month or two.
I only have 3 fingers left.
Kneecaps. Mama, no.
But yeah, that's when I found out. Like when it really realized me, and that's when I looked at trying to get into the bicycle industry as a career. I was like, oh, maybe I could like, do this. And especially when I started working on bicycles, like that's where it felt, where I the way I relax these days is I go out in the garage and work on my bike.
Right.
Which is a little bit weird to people. Yeah. But that's, I eat, breathe, and dream bicycles.
What was like, I'm trying to think, what was like a crazy thing you did for your passion for mountain biking?
Other than putting myself into debt multiple times?
I mean, maybe not something so depressing, but...
there are many times where I would do races that just seem utterly absurd. I would, there's a 100-mile mountain bike race up back near where I grew up in Harrisonburg called the Shenandoah 100 that I've done. And literally, it'd just be fun stuff. Like we'd figure out ways to have fun on and including mountain biking in it. So we'd go camping, wake up, go ride your bike, come back, fall asleep in your sweat, wake up the next morning, go ride your bike. Yeah.
Hot.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
And then, just like we go ride trails just because we hadn't wanted to ride because we hadn't ridden them before. We would, go try stupid jumps on campus and other things. So we would get really drunk and go mountain biking.
What?
Never mind.
Catching you again. You're arrested again.
I was definitely 21 by that time.
I got you. Sending this straight to the top.
Yeah. And I think that puts us on to, what really makes mountain biking tick for us. So Daniel, for you, what aspects about the sport or the activity really keep drawing you back?
I think it's really just being outdoors. I like riding a bicycle. I like not really much a road bicycle, but I like riding bicycles. But being on a mountain bicycle is much more interesting to me. I'm not being buzzed by cars. The scenery is constantly changing from season to season, and most of the time it's pretty quiet. Again, really just the kind of getting out of yourself and getting on a bike and just riding and, riding a trail that you've ridden 100 times and finally nailing that one technical part that you hadn't been able to nail and just being like, yes, I did it, Mom, I did it, Dad. Yeah! Then you gram it and you say, oh, first try, right?
Fresh shred, bro.
But yeah, it's really just, and to be perfectly honest, I don't really ride with people that much. I'll ride with you a bunch, and we have, but what made me get into mountain biking was being able to ride alone and having no one judge me. Yeah. I'm not playing on a team. I'm not messing up anybody's expectations of me on a mountain bike. If I'm having fun, then I'm having fun. Yeah. And that's really what matters about mountain biking.
Having
fun with everyone, but mostly by yourself.
I was like, that song is not going in the direction that we had talked about before. I will say, one thing that's kept me mountain biking is a distinct personality change that I had when I started. I used to be really uptight. I'm pretty uptight still, but I used to be really uptight and very worried about things, and I'd constantly stress and have anxiety about getting hurt or doing something dangerous. And part of mountain biking is, to a certain extent, a lack of control.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to control chaos. You know, you're on trails that have shifting terrain. You don't necessarily know what's coming around the next bend. And I think it's the adrenaline rush from that I got addicted to and became passionate about. And, you know, like most young men, but it's that excitement that really pushed me past the brink of not worrying about whether or not I was going to fall off a jump or, you know, worry about getting hurt or something like that.
Right.
Because the result was that much better of being like, oh, this is awesome. And quite frankly, it has helped me a lot in prioritizing stuff about myself and prioritizing stuff about my life and really honestly helping me mellow out and just being like, oh, sweet. You know what? Life is unpredictable. You know, you can't foresee everything that's coming down the road or coming down the trail.
Right.
So you just have to adapt. And mountain biking is all about adapting. It's about change, you know, being able to shift your mindset, shift your weight,
shift your gears.
Yes, shift gears when an obstacle comes up.
Oh, wow.
And this is getting really like Dr. Phil.
No. Keep going. I'm enjoying it.
But it is that's what really impresses me about the sport is it constantly forces me to reevaluate where I am on the trail, and I apply that stuff to my life as far as being, you know, constantly reevaluating, constantly trying to make a better line, to take a turn a little bit faster, a little bit more efficiently, and really it boils down to, like I said, just mellowing out and kind of going with the flow at times. So, which, you know, as if any of my family members listen to this, they'll know that is not the Adam from like high school. Seriously.
Oh, wow.
Like my parents have told me that they've seen a dramatic shift in how I look at things because, I used to be a nervous wreck of a dude. And now I say things like, dude.
And it also helps that you just smoke Kush all the time while you're riding your mountain bike. Haha. Mom and Dad, he doesn't. Don't worry. He.
I've never smoked weed.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm pretty lame.
I wasn't going to say it. You said it.
But yeah, no. Daniel, mountain biking is my drug.
Oh. Fuck you.
That's my high.
Jesus, get out of here.
Adrenaline is my high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can relate to that at all, but that's...
No, I can.
So there's another thing.
Yes.
Just things that come to mind. One part I like about mountain biking is at its core, even racers, like really hardcore racers, it's all about fun.
Yeah.
And non-judgmental fun. You know, like they're gonna be like the douchebags in the parking lot that have $10,000 mountain bikes and think they're better than everyone else. But ultimately, everyone's there to have fun.
Right.
And I think that's a common thread among all mountain bikers, I would hope.
Yeah.
But that gets to, like, I think the little kid and everyone comes out when they're riding a mountain bike.
Yeah.
So actually, if you want to play this video clip, a perfect example of that is listening to the commentators commentate the World Championship downhill run from like 2011, I believe, 2010 or 2011. So it's this British rider named Danny Hart, and he's crushing it coming down this mountain. But you have to listen to the commentator. It is like the perfect example, in my opinion, of how ludicrous but fun people have, even when they're professionals in this sport or they're professional commentators. So
let's play the clip.
So that very short audio clip is...
That's how Adam talks on the trail.
Pretty much.
Actually, yeah.
But, like, these guys have seen thousands of mountain bike races, have ridden and raced in thousands of mountain bike races, and that's still the level of excitement that these professional broadcasters have when they see something truly amazing going down on a mountain bike. And that's a like I said, in my opinion, a common thread that I can see throughout a lot of people. Like, we all get stoked for each other when we clear a jump or do something cool, or even when we're just having a good ride. Like, that's, it's like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Yeah.
When you crush a rad gnar sesh and
rad gnar sesh.
Shit your pants.
I'll tell you the other thing too is one thing that I've really enjoyed and still enjoying, what keeps me mountain biking is, I know you like to ride alone to a certain extent. Yeah. But I really enjoy the broader mountain bike community. So I like riding alone as well, but there's this understanding between people that, it's like a common language. So even if you're in a foreign country, you're going to meet people of many, shapes, sizes, creeds, and languages that share that same passion for mountain biking.
Fruit for mountain biking.
But that's through the second clip. So there's a movie series or a movie production company that it is no longer, but they're called The Collective, and they were famous for these incredibly produced mountain biking, like feature-length mountain biking videos. Right. They're now called Anthill Films, but they're this. I would watch these movies over and over and over again because the riding was amazing, but it really helped me connect to the sport within itself. So so this clip is from this like super group of professional riders from around the world, and they all gathered in Whistler, British Columbia to ride. And this, it's just like 10 seconds of one of the riders being like why they think this is awesome. So
let me play that clip now.
It's like one of the only places you can take so many people from so many different backgrounds and so many different riding styles and actually session together and have a good time.
I love mountain biking in every aspect of it, so to see guys in other disciplines riding at the highest level is really cool for me.
And my mouth, it's got a great big smile that shows some great big teeth.
And basically throughout that video clip, you see these professional riders doing crazy shit on their mountain bikes.
And it's stuff that you can do easily.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I even think that clip there is indicative of, like, when it really boils down to it, like, these professional riders, they're, it's nice to make a living off of this, but they really enjoy just riding. Like, that's everyone's dream, right? Is to make your passion your job.
Right.
So that's what I enjoy about it. But, I can keep going.
I mean, I could too.
So what other things, like, say, like, the one thing that Daniel and I do all the time is geek out about bike parts and bike stuff, and Daniel just purchased a new mountain bike.
Woo! Yeah.
After 3 years of asking me about
bugging Adam for suggestions and everything, pretty much.
But, like, do you get any joy out of coming through technical stuff and comparing build specs and stuff like that?
I will say that sometimes it becomes a little too nitty gritty for me.
I can see that.
And it's like, if I'm reading kind of like a mountain bike magazine, I much prefer the stories about the places that they're going to and the rides, versus kind of like even like Mountain Bike Action magazine, which does more of like, here's a bike build, it's made out of carbon, the wheel size is 26.5 feet long. And it's just like, okay, but what does it ride like and where did you ride it? So I do geek out and I like reading mountain bike blogs and bike blogs and stuff. I probably don't geek out as much as you do about technical stuff, just because I was in the industry, for a couple years.
Oh yeah, I'd say more than a couple years.
Yeah. But it wasn't like, I didn't I didn't sell that many nice mountain bikes, so I couldn't really geek out. So the technical stuff is very interesting to me, but not as much as you. Not as much as you are interesting to me.
So I would say that's actually a really interesting part about this sport is that there are many different ways that people can be passionate about this. Like, you may not have the passion about like the technical aspects of, what durometer tire, your tire compound is.
Right.
I like that shit.
I know. It's
like,
7.
like my father loves bicycles, cares about components to the extent that they work well, and he appreciates higher end stuff because it works very well, but he couldn't give a shit about various technical aspects, but he just wants it to work.
Right.
But I would say that he loves cycling more than you and I combined, because that's the way he does it. And I would also say that you still are just as passionate about mountain biking as I am.
Oh yeah,
but for different reasons.
I would agree with that,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think is lovely about this sport.
That's what mountain biking is.
Yeah.
Being different and being cool with others being different.
Oh,
yeah.
How to be a mountain biker.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, there's that other video clip.
Do you want me to play that?
Yeah. So there's this video production company called IFHT Films, I believe, that do hilarious parody videos on basically calling out different industries and different sports. But we'll play like the first maybe 20 seconds. But this is called How to Be a Mountain Biker. And it's so accurate. It's not funny.
How to be a mountain biker. Follow these steps and you too can be like us. Step 1. Buy a mountain bike. Buy a mountain bike that is more expensive than your car. Now that you own one bike, buy 5 more for the following disciplines: cross-country, trail, enduro, dirt jumping, and freeride. Step 2. Spend whatever little money you have left on new parts, and make sure you can justify your purchases.
That'll be $700.
Wow, what a great price. I just saved 20 grand.
Step 3. No.
It's so true.
Yeah. That's what I love about mountain biking too, is that while they can make those jokes about saving grams and all that good stuff, the entry level to mountain biking is the entry level barrier to mountain biking is much lower than, say, like road biking or cyclocross or gravel grinding or something like that, because a cheap mountain bike may not be the most fun thing to ride, but it is still a mountain bike. If you get like a true cheap mountain bike, it is still a mountain bike that will be able to handle some dirt trails.
Sure.
And if you get into it, then like a lot of people, you just upgrade to the next mountain bike.
Yep.
And that's really where I saw my passion bloom. And when I knew I was a fanatic was when... I'm going to tell another story, Adam, if you're okay with that.
We're past story time.
Oh, shit.
Can't go back to story time.
All right, then this is non-story time. But I was in law school, and I was spending a summer in Asheville and had brought my little Specialized rock hopper with me.
I thought you were on your Crave by that point in time.
No. So that's when I was such a good mountain biker that one day, it was like a really, really rainy summer, and the trails had been closed for most of the summer. It was really tough to get out and ride as much as I wanted to, especially in Asheville, where it's like truly mountain bike riding, which I wasn't used to at all. So one evening after work, I went out for a ride. I was ripping it up, trying to go as fast as I could. Trails were muddy. I was really excited to be out. Not muddy. I don't ride on muddy trails, but
they're damp.
Damp, yeah. Exactly. And so I hit this jump, and I'm going off this jump, and I'm just like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do this. And then right in the landing spot is a bear cub.
Oh, yes.
And a bear cub. And I'm doing the Superman. I'm off the bike. I'm like, get out of the way. And Mama Bear sees me almost about to land on her bear cub. She comes running out of nowhere. Bear tackles me. And then they just sprint off, but I'm there, lying there with a broken collarbone.
Oh, see, Daniel, but I thought that it was there was a bear cub, but it was being attacked by another bear. And
it was a grizzly bear and a black bear.
Yeah, and you went off the jump knowing that you would have to crash into it because you were trying to fend off the grizzly bear from the helpless baby bear.
I got off the bike midair, used it as like a club to bring it down. I was like, here comes the pain. No, what really happened was I went off a jump, landed it poorly on my 26-inch wheels and rim brakes, and broke my collarbone in 5 places. Then I got
5 places.
Yes, shards like yeah. So then had to get surgery.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. Got metal plate in there with some screws to keep the bone together. And then...
Are you like the $6 million man now?
I'm pretty sure the night before my surgery, I had talked to you about getting a new mountain bike.
Yeah, that's right.
And like everybody I had talked to before was like, you're going to stop mountain biking, right? I was like, no. Like, why would I ever do that? Like, obviously I need a better bike because what limited me was my lack of 29er wheels.
Oh, definitely.
And bear spray. Obviously I needed that. But that was like when it hit me, was like, I knew I wanted to get better at mountain biking, and I didn't want to be limited by my body, so that's why I got a metal part in it, so it will never break again. And
I wish we had the theme song to sing like, we can rebuild him. We have the ability.
$2,000 surgery.
Yay,
oh shit!
Obamacare.
What? So when they did the surgery, the doctor was like, here, I'm going to jam this giant needle into your shoulder, and then in like 5 minutes, you won't remember a thing. And I was like, yeah, right. And like, he jammed the needle in me. I remember being there, and the nurse came in and was like, you're hairy. We have to shave this spot. I was like, yep. And then I remember like waking up. I was like, what happened? My parents were there, and they were like, the doctor talked to you about like important stuff. Do you remember any of it? I was like, nope. Thank God you were there.
You only have one kidney left, too.
Yeah, my arm was amputated, but the shoulder was healed. But that was like, when it hit me, was like, I'm into mountain biking. I'm a mountain bike fanatic, and I always want mountain biking to be part of my life. So here I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, kind of as we start to wrap up this lovely episode. The wrap up. Wrap in the wrap up. Gonna wrap this motherfucker up right now. I can't rhyme.
Nothing rhymes with now, so you would just keep saying now. Good work. Jesus. I think every episode will add a new line. So, time to wrap this motherfucker up right now was episode 2. Episode 3, who knows? Sorry. Go ahead.
You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But I think that's the neat thing to take away from this is as we identify what makes each of us passionate about this, I think it really boils down to, when it's all said and done, I'd rather be mountain biking.
Yeah.
Like when it, broken collarbones, stressful work day, crappy weather.
Yeah.
Subpar bicycles in some instances. Like, I would be happy on a $500, entry-level mountain bike, as long as I was mountain biking.
Right.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about the sport, and what, why all of us seem a little bit nuts about this is that's what we'd rather be doing. And we've seen personal growth, we've seen the sport help us get through hard times. Yeah. We've made new friends because of it. We've made new friends. We've, been able to see and experience a lot of things that we wouldn't have seen otherwise in the country. For better or for worse, I've been Part of my stint in the bike industry was traveling around the country, and I got to mountain bike in some awesome places. So that's what I love about it. And yeah, I think,
Nice. Good wrap up.
nice.
Yeah, dog.
Despite the lack of a good rap.
Oh, no, I thought it was amazing.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, so that about does it for our second episode.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably visit mountain biking again at some point.
Perhaps.
We'll probably like re-record all these episodes, be like, here's mountain biking volume 2. Yeah. So did we already talk about what to take away from this? Everybody should try mountain biking and have fun with it.
I think at least my takeaway is, if you're looking for a slightly different sport, if you're, something to bleed off stress, and or just any activity like this, where I think you can find true beauty in the activity. I think that's awesome for people. So I don't know if that's necessarily a takeaway.
No, but that's a great takeaway. You know what time it is, though?
Recommendations. So
recommendations.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
So last episode,
yes,
we proposed the idea of making recommendations to one another.
Yes,
and then by this episode, by the following episode, we will have followed up on that recommendation to each other.
As I said last episode, I'm very bad about that. Mostly, I warned you, mostly about movies that you recommend to me.
I'm just going to recommend movies all the time. Because you know what? Daniel didn't follow through on his recommendation.
No, I will admit it and be honest here. I did not go see Free Solo. I'm sorry.
Hashtag eye roll emoji.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. This is our first fight on air. No, I did not. I'm very sorry. I will see it because I would like to, but I may have to wait until it's like streaming or something.
Maybe you should apologize to all our listeners.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well,
I will check out Free Solo and let you know how it is.
They don't accept.
Another time. They do. I can hear them now.
You're dead to them.
Dead air to them.
Oh, boy.
Well, so let me ask you, did you listen to Elder's album Dead Root Stirring?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Much easier to do. What'd you think?
It was good.
Uh-huh.
It's very stoner metal.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know if stoner metal is my type of metal.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's for better or for worse, it's easy to tune out. I didn't necessarily find myself being drawn into any of the songs. Like, I couldn't tell you a name of the song. Sorry.
You're so dead air to me, bro. Well, darn, Adam. Well, then one of the episodes that we do is going to have to be about the band Elder, and I'm going to try and get you into them.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. What is your recommendation for this episode?
How about you go first? Because I have a couple swirling around in my brain.
Okay. So for this episode, Adam, I'm going to recommend to you the comic graphic novel Watchmen.
But who watches the Watchmen?
Oh, brother. It's a really great graphic novel that I think it came out in the early mid 80s. It was kind of a subversive comic book and was very different than everything else that was out. So it introduced me to comic books and got me really passionate about comic books. And I think you should read it. And it's not a long read. It's an easy read, and it's a lot of fun. Cool. So read Watchmen by the next time I see you.
Will do.
Please.
All right.
Here we go.
So I will do my best to read.
Yes.
The Watchmen.
First, you need to learn how to read.
A, B, D, K,
oh, God.
L, 2,
all right, you got
1. Yeah.
L, 2, 1. Go ahead.
And my recommendation for this week's episode is to watch the movie The Big Sick.
Now, what's that about?
Well, it stars Kunal Nayan. I can't pronounce his last name. It's the Pakistani guy from Silicon Valley, the HBO show Silicon Valley. But it's all about how he met his wife and like the genesis of his and his wife's relationship. And basically the story is that he met his wife and she came down with a really bad illness, like life threatening, and all about how he worked through that with her family, but also with the understanding of all the cultural differences. Like, he's Pakistani, his family's really fairly traditional, and they wanted him to marry a Pakistani girl, whereas his now wife's family is not. And so it's like the cultural differences between there. It's funny. It's a beautifully made movie. I really like the acting in there.
Nice.
So, and it's easily accessible on Amazon Prime.
Thank goodness. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you, Adam. That was a lot of fun. And now we sign off. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Passion Fruits podcast.
Woohoo.
My name is Daniel, your ever-loving banana hammock boy.
Oh, man. And signing off here is Adam, your Cherry Bomb Harris.
Cherry Bomb Harris.
Oh, man.
Good night, everybody.
Buenas noches.
Bye.